Well, good morning, Cam.
Good morning, Mitch. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, but we'll see. My dog is barking a
Yeah.
lot, and so if at all you hear annoying sounds, I apologize. And if you hear me getting frustrated, that is why.
That'll make for a fun show. So, well, I'm excited today because we've got a really cool show ahead of us. We are going to be talking about our why do they have to name things like this? WWDC predictions for today, for this coming event. So I'm super stoked. I did tell my wife this morning I was a little frustrated because you put all your predictions in the document already. So
Was I not supposed to do that?
well, I kind of like the only reason I get frustrated with that is that like you pick stuff in your stuff that I would have picked, and I was like, oh, so but that's okay. I figured out a way around it, so we're good. There might be a controversial.
Well, but see, this prevents us from picking the same thing on the air, and then one of us having to randomly pick something out of the blue.
Yeah, it does, but that's part of the fun of it. What I was going to do is create an Obsidian document and just put like 3 things for each, so that I had some choices, and then when we're live, we could talk about them and not talk about all the choices, but like if you picked something on me, then I could go ahead and pick something else and whatever. So, but we'll have fun with it.
Let me tell you, there's a few categories that I could not come up with 3 ideas for.
So. No, this was true. WatchOS is a tough one. So WatchOS and tvOS were tough. So I should say at the top of the show today that we talked last time about doing like the question style thing. I made some slight tweaks to that. Rather than having like, what's a feature that you want to see in iOS, or what's a feature that you think will come to iOS, I just simply titled it iOS. So we'll, anything that's pertaining to iOS, we'll throw in as iOS. But I also realized that by putting what's a feature in iOS, what's an app in iOS, what's a feature in iPadOS, and what's an app in iPadOS, that I was getting really heavy on the app side of things. And I realized that was going to be really difficult to come up with stuff. And we didn't have WatchOS and tvOS in there either, which undoubtedly there's going to be something in those 2 categories announced at WWDC. So I wanted to make sure that those were represented. So pretty much when we go through the list, it's going to be iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS, macOS. And then I did allow for a category for a new or updated app. I almost want to throw in like what's an app you don't think you're going to see, because I've got a pick there that I would like. But the problem with that is that you leave that really open-ended. So, I don't think we're going to see, just pick an obscure app that they haven't updated in, the last 20 years. So I think that would have to be agreed upon, that like if I said, you know what, we'll save it for later. I think I might try to see if I can sneak this pick past you, and we'll go from there. So, because I know you have emotions.
Say, we're definitely going to see them update the chess app on Mac. That's definitely happening.
So, but I did want to start off the show with a widget trick that I discovered. So one thing I love about Apple, and it doesn't happen 100% of the time, but you can go into, your Apple device, maybe if it's like in this case, it was my iPhone, but like Mac or whatever, and say, you know what? I really want to be able to do this thing this way, and I should just try it and see if it works. And darn it, it worked. So one of the biggest frustrations I have a large widget on my front home screen, and it's a stack. So I've got different things in it. Well, it's so hard to get a new large widget into the stack. So do you know there's a trick for this?
I don't know if I know.
Okay. So when you go into a widget and you go to edit the stack, there is a plus sign in the upper corner. You can add them directly into the stack.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that, and I discovered that, and it's revolutionized the way that I'm dealing with my stacks now.
But so, you have to have a stack to begin with. So you have to do that. Mm-hmm. You have to do the song and dance to get the second one in there first. But once you do that, yeah.
Yeah. So it works pretty slick. So I did not realize that they had that in there like that. And it works really nice. So I'm quite happy.
Yeah, no, that's a big headache saver right there. It doesn't screw like you go, oh, I gotta move this, and then it rearranges your app. Like especially if you're using the small or the medium size, and it rearranges your home screen a bunch. Yeah. That's a definite headache saver.
The small and medium ones are actually, you can do it. The large one, you pull it, you have to create it on the second page, and then you got to pull it onto the first page because there's not enough room for two of them. But then the stack that you have on the first page slides over to the second page real quick, and then you're playing this little song and dance trying to get one to catch the other one, and it's
then
just
somehow in the background all you hear is
little Benny Hill theme going on in the background. I also discovered it was a pick on MacBreak Weekly a while back that an app called Penbook. So I don't know if you've heard of this app, but it basically creates, it's for the iPad, and it basically creates these virtual notebooks inside the app. And there's a ton of customizability for like what the pages are. Like you can do just a regular ruled, like right now, the one that I'm showing you is just a regular ruled paper, with the margin on the left-hand side. They have, like, if you prefer the dot style of paper, they have plain, they've got like day planner stuff. And you create all these virtual notebooks, and then you can go in and just use them like regular notebooks. And this is what I've been looking for being able to like write notes and stuff like that on the iPad. And I know that I've had a bunch of apps like this in the past that have all trying to do something fancy or something different, or, and I wanted to find something that was just simply like notebooks in an app, and this Penbook app really works really nice for that. So I wanted to mention that on the show in case anybody's looking for something like that.
Nice.
And I'll just throw in another little thing. I love my iPad mini. I didn't think that I was going to love it this much, but it is like, I never want it to leave my hand. That's great. So
it is a lovely little machine.
Yep. Well, cool. Are you ready for some predicties?
Let's hit it. I'm terrified, but let's go.
All right. Well, how do you want to do this? You want to start? You want me to start? I think I won the last Predicties event, so I'm not sure.
So I think you should choose them since you won. You get that.
I should go benefit first. Okay. And like we talked at the top of the show, we pretty much have all of our predictions in the document already. So we're just going to be going through and talking about those a little bit. But I was going to go with the widget integration thing, and I saw that you already had this. So I'll let you talk a little bit more about it in a second. But I also think that at some point we have to see this. New widget sizes in iOS. And by the way, we're starting out with our iOS picks. So I think we'll see new widget sizes for iOS this year. So a smaller one, maybe something that's maybe like 2 icons wide. Maybe some vertical ones would be kind of interesting. Like two or 3 icons vertically or something like that, just so that we can have like some weird layouts. That'll be a little fun. But I think that there's some real possibilities for like a 2 icon widget. So, but I did put in the document new widgets. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have had a S behind that. New widget size or sizes. So I'm not sure if it'll be one new size or if they'll have multiple new sizes. So that is my
iOS. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the smaller ones. Like it would be really interesting if they even had just a single icon size widget that was just like if it was just like carrot weather, it was just like the temperature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
Or maybe just
the calendar, just the date.
Or maybe we just expand the capabilities of the custom icons. I could see that being a different story from the widgets. But anyway, more widget sizes. You got to pick.
All right. I'm going to apologize in advance. My dog is still losing his mind. So, if anyone wants a dog, just let me know. I'll sell them to you at a discount. I have more interactive widgets, and I think this is the low hanging fruit pick. I think for iOS because we had the interactive widgets before, and then when they went to this new style of widget, they removed a lot of the interactivity and the constant updating and that sort of stuff. And so it seems as if now is the time where the next version of these new widgets should come out, and we should be able to interact directly with them. They should be able to update us and tell us different information, that sort of stuff. I think everybody wants it. We were all super mad when it went away. Mm-hmm. And we knew that, okay, we had to take a couple steps backwards to get to this new version of widgets, and eventually we'll get back to where we once were. And I'm hoping that is this year.
Well, I really hope to see the music app has a play pause button on it. I think that would be a really cool thing for just a 2 icon widget to have. On the one side, it's got the album artwork, and on the other side of it, it has a play pause toggle button on it. I think that would be a really neat little widget to have on the home screen. You wouldn't use it all the time, but it would be something that I think would be really nice.
I would use it all the time. You tap the album to get it to open the app, right? And you tap play pause to toggle. And done. Mm-hmm. Immediately. That's on my home screen.
Yeah.
Same thing with, podcast player.
Yeah, I think it's got to be opened up to third parties right away too. Yeah. I think it has to be for third party apps.
It has to be because WidgetKit already is. So it would just be an update to that. And then, everyone's off to the races. Because then, especially if you have the 2 icons, then what would used to be one small widget, you can have your podcast player and your music player in a nice little stack, right?
Mm-hmm. That would be cool.
So twice the functionality in the same space. So that'd be dope.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
We're
manifesting this, Mitch.
Yes. So I thought this would be a good question for iOS and iPadOS, but not for necessarily everything else. But what do you think we're not gonna get that people have been discussing?
Oh boy, what are we not gonna get?
Because I think that there's been a lot of talk around a lot of the updates that we got last year. So I have a theory, and I heard somebody talk about this on another podcast, and I'm kind of a believer in this theory. That if you watch Apple does kind of an every other year with certain features. And I think that there's a reason for that. They introduced, and this is why I think the widget thing is a lock for this year. They introduced widgets 2 years ago. So they spent a year or maybe 6 months to a year watching what developers did with widgets, everything that users were doing with widgets and what they wanted. And then they've got about a year to do all of the, development on these new features. So that's why you kind of see them do this on off, like the TikTok cycle that they've talked about in the past. I think it's a little bit different than what I'm talking about, but a lot of people are all about, some of the updates that they had last year and seeing some refinements and some changes for it this year. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. I think what we need to do is look at 2 years ago and what did they show us 2 years ago? And we can expect to probably see some updates and some changes to it this year. And possibly next year, depending on how difficult the development is and what the development cycle looks like. But I think that the widget thing for sure, and that's why I'm really excited about the possibility of updates on the widgets this year, because they've had that 2 years to really do a lot of development on that. So, but I definitely don't think we're going to see a lot of changes to Safari this year because they did a huge overhaul last year.
Yeah, and that went so well.
Yeah. How about iPad OS? Do you want to go first this time?
Sure. All right. I put true external display support. And here's what I mean by that. Currently, does iPad OS support external displays? Technically, yes, but it just mirrors your display and it puts black bars on the side. So if you actually want to interact with your iPad with like using your hands, you have to look at the actual iPad. Now, if you're using a mouse or a trackpad, you can look at the screen.
For our listeners, I'm laughing because you can hear the dog barking in the background, and Cam's face is priceless right now. The frustration. I'm leaving this in the show too. This is too good.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, external display support. What I mean is the option to not mirror displays, but extend displays, and also to have it recognize the full resolution of said display and not give you the black bars. And so this goes along with another one of my picks later on about multitasking features in iPad OS. If you're going to have external display support, you've got to do it right. And I get this is, again, they did it once. Step phase one, let's just let you have an external display. Phase two would then be, okay, now you can use your external display like you actually want to use an external display, which is extra real estate. Maybe you have the choice to mirror or extend, but this just feels like a natural evolution to me. And that way your iPad becomes tablet in hand. This is straight Federico right here, right? Tablet in hand, laptop in the thing, like almost Nintendo Switch-esque, pop it in, put it on the display, or clamshell mode type deal if you want to do it that, however you want to use it, right? It truly becomes your modular computer. And I am drinking the Kool-Aid on that idea hard because it sounds amazing. Like imagine even like, now I don't know if this is just reserved for the pros, like the iPad Pros, because of the extra, RAM it would take to, or whatever it would take to push, a 4K display out of your iPad or whatever. But like imagine your mini and just being able to have it on the couch, or at your desk, and then slapping a USB-C cable on it, and boom, now it's on your big giant 4K display. Yeah. And you can use a mouse and that to me sounds wonderful. And now I'm going to mute because I just want to cry because of all the barking. And I'm so sorry. I will figure out a solution for next time. This is so bad.
Yep. You just got to leave a couple of cups of peanut butter out there and just let him go at it.
Oh no, he's in his crate because he destroyed a whole roll of paper towel last night when I wasn't looking. So yeah, he's in his crate and he usually stops after 5 minutes, and I think we're going on like a solid 25 right now. Yeah. So
all right.
I have my apologies.
So we are duplicating a pick here. I see that you've got this pick or something similar to it later in the card. But I want to, I'll define a little bit more precisely what I'm looking at with this pick. And that is multitasking enhancements. You'll have the capability of putting more apps per space. So what I mean by that, and I'm kind of on the Mac you have spaces. They don't really call it that on the iPad, but essentially that's what you're doing is you're creating like a little workspace or something like that where you have two apps side by side. Some people will include the swipe over or the slide over as well. That so you can have three apps open. I think that what we're gonna see, I kind of hesitate to say it's going to be overlapping apps, more like Windows style applications. But what I think they're going to do is like I can have three apps open, not including the slide over, or four, be able to break it into like four different sections and have complete ability to customize the sizes of them vertically on either side, and then in the middle there'll be a divider between the four. So the middle slider will require it to be top to bottom, but the two on each side you'll be able to slide up and down and change the sizes of the apps that you have in there. And then slide over would still be there. I think they'll probably use like the quick note action for something. I'd almost rather see them eliminate the slide over the way it is right now, and replace it with the quick note style windowing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible on the iPad mini, but I know on the regular iPads, when you do slide over, you get that weird narrow version of the app. And I think that's like on the mini, it's a little bit, it comes over onto the display a little bit further, and it's a little bit more the size of like an iPad, an iPhone. Like you slide in an iPhone and then slide it out. But when you have a larger display like that, it's just this big, tall, narrow, goofy looking thing. And it's weird. So I think it would be a lot better to see it more iPhone styled, like the apps were supposed to be, rather than stretched vertically. It's just weird. But yeah.
So I never use slide over ever. Yeah. I just don't like it.
I really occasionally, like once in a while, I would put my calculator out of pCalc. I would just slide pCalc out, make a calculation, slide it back. I think that worked really nice for that application, but normally I wouldn't use it. All right. Well, on to watchOS.
Everyone's favorite.
You know, this was a hard one, but I'd heard some rumors that they were looking at the current watch faces that they had for the Apple Watch, and that they were looking to do some enhancements to update them. I want to stop short of saying modernizing them. I know it seems like low-hanging fruit to say, oh, we're going to get new watch faces, because we get new watch faces just about every year. But I think that in this year would be a really good year for them to take some of the older watch faces and just bring them a little bit more up to date, make them scale better on the larger displays and stuff like that. I think that would just be a really nice way for them to do that. Maybe make the complications, like do something different with the complications that might just make things a little bit more attractive. You could probably take, I would say that there's like maybe 4 or 5 watch faces that you could literally combine them into one watch face. And then just depending on how you put the complications in and the different watch face styles and stuff like that, like you could put all of those features into that one watch face and eliminate like 5 of, like, some of the analog watch faces are almost identical one to the next. The only thing that's different about them is one's a little cleaner watch face look. One's a little more complicated. One offers you corner widgets and corner complications and middle complications. And then the next one doesn't offer those. And it's like, if you just combined all those together and then just like when you went in to customize the watch face, just had all those features available to the watch face, I think that would clean up a lot of the, just as you're scrolling through all those watch faces, making it just easier to find what you're looking for, and then just customize the crap out of that watch face. A good thing to look at is what they did with like the Nike hybrid watch face. And some of those is that there's a ton of customizability within those watch faces. They can be analog, they can be digital, they can, you can get rid of all the complications, or you can have a ton of complications, but it's all in one watch face. So I think that they're ripe for doing some updates on the current watch faces that are available for the Apple Watch. So I'm leaving it a little bit open-ended, but at the same time, I don't know what they're thinking or what they're going to do. So, but I think that they're going to do something with the older watch faces.
All right.
Your turn,
My
sir.
pick for WatchOS is that we will see new workout types and or new metrics that you can measure. Now, legit, this is like the only thing I can think of,
Okay.
other than, like you said, new watch faces.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think we'll see a new workout or multiple workout types, and then new and or new ways to measure certain metrics during workouts.
So,
like my stress level right now.
So this is not going to be a scored opinion of yours, but I'm interested to know, like, what do you think would be a new workout type that they would offer?
I don't know. To be honest.
So here's something that my wife and I have talked about a lot. They have yoga as a workout type. They also offer yoga as a Fitness Plus option. I would love to see them add Tai Chi as a workout type and a Fitness Plus workout, because my wife and I have talked a lot about, like, it'd be really nice to just be able to do Tai Chi. I'm not that into yoga, the way they do it, but I do enjoy the idea of like doing Tai Chi, which I realize there's probably not a ton of difference, but there is some difference. And so, like, I would think it would be neat to see them like lean in a little bit to like Tai Chi or something similar to that in their workouts. So
we shall see.
We shall. I told you.
Maybe they'll add jazzercise.
Jazzercising, yep. That's a good thing we don't post the video. All right.
Is it a good thing? I don't know.
All right. tvOS. What's your pick, sir?
All right. I'm swinging for the fences on this one.
All right.
Hear me out. I want many things for tvOS. But I think having widgets on tvOS is the start of something potentially very cool. I also want the home app on tvOS. I don't want just the stupid slide over thing where I can look at my two cameras. I want a full, like, this is supposed to be the hub, and I've had this, sermon on this podcast before.
You've had this beef before. I get it.
It's supposed to be the home hub, and I can't control my home from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can use Siri, but I can use Siri anywhere. This is supposed to be my home hub. Let me control my home. So on top of that, I imagine, like, instead of the home screen just being your wall of apps, imagine like a home dashboard where you can have, your camera for if you want it, or you can have home controls. You can have your widgets that show you the weather and show you your calendar. And then there's a library option, and you click on that, and that takes you to the wall of apps.
Mm-hmm.
Like having an actual home screen on your TV that is useful and gives you information, and you can stylize, like, say your home screen on your phone or your iPad. Why can't I have that similar experience on my television, where obviously I'm going to have different things on my TV than I would my iPhone because it serves a different purpose. But, like, come on. I don't just want to look at, YouTube TV, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Amazon. Like, that's my library, and I will go there when I want to use it. But I would love to have useful information, like a family calendar or pictures of my kid and my friends, like having it be an actual home screen on the biggest screen in my home. Like, this seems obvious to me.
Yeah.
And we've not seen anything like it on tvOS ever, which is why I know it's not going to happen, but I'm making the pick anyways, because darn it, it just makes sense.
Yeah. And I think your pick rolls very nicely into my pick. And I use the term springboard. I don't know if their term is specifically springboard, but usually that's what they say for the iOS and iPadOS is the main screen, or the home screen is run by a background process called springboard. So, I believe that they're going to just do a complete redesign of the main screen or springboard. on the TV on tvOS. And I think that this is a big part of it. Bringing app library so that you don't have to see all your apps in front of you. I think a large TV or was it the TV app widget on the screen would be huge, and then have the interactivity on that widget to be able to go through and select things right from that widget. So it shows you you're up next and maybe some suggestions or, some that, cause that would be terrible. But like if you've seen the Apple TV widget for, like say the iPad, let me let me add it once here and, so I can take a look at it. It just happens to be right there, but right away, it's kind of small to see it, but there's, there's like a big window that shows the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and then all these other shows that I have in my up next. So why couldn't we have that right on the main screen of the Apple TV? I think that would be awesome.
Preach.
So, and not just that, but now Disney Plus has their widget and, Amazon has their widget. And so you're able to have all this stuff. I mean, you could really go overboard with this, but you could have all this stuff on your home screen so that when you turn on the TV and Apple TV pops up, you're like, okay, here's the 50 shows that I have that I could watch right now. That would be that many shows probably be horrible, but being able to look at that and say, oh, okay, so I can watch some of those shows. I can watch this, and there's some sports going on right now. There's the score of the game that I'm kind of passively paying attention to. There's a weather widget just to say, oh, well, not that I need a weather widget on my TV, but have that weather right there. It would be really, really neat to have that kind of capability on the home screen of the Apple TV. So.
Yeah, I think we're either going to be very disappointed or very excited in a couple weeks.
you know what's going to happen is they're going to get up there and they're going to say tvOS. Yeah, we're going to, you can now do this really dumb thing. And all right, on to the next thing. We're both going to look at it and go, stupid.
Well, so here back to your earlier point of like stuff they did 2 years ago. Like they've made a big deal about the home, and iPod, their HomePod minis and the integrations with this, that, and other thing, and your TV being, your home hub. And they've made small, tiny improvements. Like they added the ability to, access your cameras or whatever through the home thing and the slide over option. Like it's been little stuff. I think it's time for something big to happen. And so we shall see. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm preparing for disappointment.
All right. On to Mac OS. I'm taking a naming guess here. And I've got two listed because I think either one of these is probably equally as possible, although they could go a totally different direction. And there's an infinite amount of options that they could choose from. So for me to guess one of two, I don't think is out of bounds. So I think we're going to see Mac OS Mammoth or Mac OS Sequoia. I think either one of those would be really cool.
Why Mammoth?
I don't know, just it is what it is. It just seems like a couple of them that would be kind of cool. The reason why I don't think it's going to be Mammoth is because the last one was Monterey, and they would both be M related names, and I just think that the marketing team would probably pitch a fit about that. But I think it's probably more likely if it was going to be down to one of those two, I would probably guess if asked to choose, Mac OS Sequoia. I just love the way that sounds too.
I'm hoping they go for Mac OS San Luis Obispo. It's my favorite city in California, just because of the name.
Yeah, they don't shy
or
from
Mac
weird
OS
stuff.
Rancho Cucamonga.
Right.
Please.
So, all right, either Mammoth or Sequoia will be the new name of
Bro,
Mac
if you
OS.
land that, I'm gonna be. I think, yeah. I don't want to say this, so I'm not, but I'm gonna say it. If you land that, I think you win. Like if you guess the name, I think you just win.
Yep. All right, your pick, sir.
Okay, so this is one of the categories where I was like, I have literally no idea because I just it's been around forever. So I just said one major overhaul of one Apple app. So I'm talking like a la like what they did with reminders or notes, a couple years ago, where it just got completely rehauled and redone. And so I think they're going to do that with an app, and I don't know which one.
I almost feel like pressing you to select at least 2 or 3 that you think could be. Only one of them would have to be chosen, but I have a thought. But
okay, well, hold on. I'm pulling up the list of applications on my.
Oh, and the way you have that major overhaul of one Apple app. What if they do 2? Do you get that point?
Bro, if they do 2, that's don't be silly. Don't be silly.
All right.
So I have to pick 3.
Well, I'm just saying, like, have a selection of apps that they could overhaul. Like, what do you think would be most? I'll tell you after you suggest a few apps, but my difficulty level was pretty high in this category, and I feel like you're kind of phoning it in.
My fault. That's not my fault. I'm gonna go with oh gosh, mail. Books. I think my dog got out of his cage. Yeah, he's at my door. Mail, books, and oh boy, chess. Just because I made the joke earlier.
Well, throw those in the show doc, and we'll or in the Predicties document here, and that way we can have that in there. I think you're right about mail. I think mail's ripe for some good updates.
All right, it is in there.
All right, so new or updated app. I'm going to let you take this one first, and then come back to me because I'm going to posit something that might be controversial.
All right, so new or updated app.
Yep.
I say the health app will get updated.
Okay. Update to the health app.
And I'm talking about the one on your iPhone.
Okay. Any suggestions of what that might be?
I think it could use a nice visual overhaul. It's it kind of pretty cluttered.
It's pretty clunky right now the way it's designed. I would agree.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's up for a fresh overhaul as well. So there's just so many things in here.
All right.
Man, I don't open it very much.
So my thought here, and you can tell me if this comes off too broad or not, but I really want to choose no Final Cut Pro for iPad.
You're such a jerk. And now I know why it was blank in the show doc.
So I only say this because I don't think it'll be announced here if they ever decide to do this. But there hasn't been any rumors about it or nothing. I think it's actually more likely that if they do an iPad event in the fall and they're planning it, it'll probably come out then. But that's been my choice. So I'm going to give you the option. Do you think that's a fair pick or not?
Well, we're talking new or updated apps.
Right.
So I don't
know.
I guess it would be a new app on the iPad. So I think technically it's fine.
But even though I'm saying that it's not going to happen.
Well, no, because we're saying we're picking an app that will get updated or a brand new app that will be made. And you're saying the opposite of that, which is it won't be made. So no, it doesn't count.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's why I wanted to throw that out there. So, all right. Well, now I got to come up with an app that I think will be updated. I don't have one of those folders anymore because of App Library that has all the Apple apps stuffed in them because I never use them anymore. So, gotta figure this out. I'm gonna go with messages. I think we're gonna see messages get a update.
Interesting. That hasn't been updated since they added the like the in-app apps, you know, like the stickers and all that sort of stuff. And that was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, that's a while ago. So I think it's ripe for an update.
I like it.
All right, so let's get into our wild card updates or our wild card picks. I'm going with the Mac Pro is going to be announced in this event.
Yeah, I think you're right. Got to get it to them developers so they can build all their new apps on it.
Now, I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to be released, and I paused to say that there's really going to be even any hardware announced at this event. Because like right now, the Mac Studio is like, if you order one now, you might get it in the fall. You know, it's ridiculously short supply right now because of the supply chain. But then again, like Tim Cook is always saying, it's the legacy nodes that are the problem, not the new stuff. And that's why the iPhone and the iPads and stuff like that are not seeing as big of shipping delays, but there must be something in the Mac Studio that's getting pushed back. I think the displays are even worse, the Studio displays. So who was it this last week? I think it was John Siracusa this last week was saying that he ordered a Mac Studio and a Studio display for his wife, and the Mac Studio has arrived. But the Studio display just got pushed back into July. June, the end of June. It was supposed to show up like the end of May, right around this time, and it got pushed back another month. And I don't know if I've ever seen that happen with Apple before. So something's going badly for them right now with some components. So, so. My pick is the Mac Pro will be announced, but I think it's going to be my personal feeling is it's going to be more like a preview than a full blown like, hey, you can order it next week. I think it's going to be pushed back probably within the next 6 months. I still have an annual predictee that they're going to have a Mac Pro shipped by the end of the year. And I stand by that, but I don't think it's going to ship probably till close to the end of the year. But this is the event to talk about the Mac Pro, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I have mixed feelings on this one. I agree in the sense that at the end of the last event, they totally teased this, right? Mm-hmm. This is our brand new Mac lineup. It's the most powerful Macs ever, but we're not done. We have one more left, you know, and everyone's like, like the Pro. So like in that timeline, it totally makes sense that they would tease it at the end of the last event and that they would show it off here. I think the only hole in that argument is the supply chain issues that you talked about. Yeah. And so I don't know if it's worth announcing now if they know they can't ship it until November.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's like the only thing where I'm like, would they announce it now to the developers, knowing that none of them are going to be able to use it until, you know, well after iOS, you know, all the OS updates are out.
Well, they did it with the trash can Mac when that came out.
Yeah, but that was different times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they have they have a history
Yeah.
of doing that with developers.
So we'll see. I mean, I like the pick. I just think that's the wild card here for your wild card pick is will they announce it despite all of the current? So, you know, we'll see.
Okay. All right, your pick, sir.
We're gonna see 2 app demos on stage. Yeah.
All right, 2 app demos.
Not one, not 3. We're gonna see 2.
All right, so exactly 2 app demos.
Exactly 2 app demos.
Okay.
Like either they bring out like Adobe or they bring out, you know, a game or whatever for iOS. It's like, oh, Metal 3, and now we can render 95 million whatevers, you know.
Okay.
That sort of stuff.
We might have a little bit of an issue with the fact that this is still going to be done as a pre-recorded video. So as far as doing demos might be a little bit weird. And we might have to have a conversation about what consists or what a demo consists of.
I'm talking about when they bring a third party company to show off what they can do in their app with the whatever new feature they announce. Sort of deal.
So
we can argue about it later.
Craig Federighi announces the new mail app and then he sits and uses it.
No, I'm talking like when they had Adobe show off Photoshop or when they had the game company show out how they can render all the new layers so much faster or whatever. Mm-hmm. So third party companies showing off an updated version of what their app can do based on new software capabilities from the different OSs.
All right. My next 2 are my next wild card and the Buck wild card are more about the stagecraft, so to speak. So I'm going with we are going to see the live audience at some point in the live stream because there is going to be a live audience there. They're just going to be watching the live stream with the rest of us. But I believe that either Tim Cook is going to open up the show and say, you know, good morning. You know, it's really awesome. And like do a live introduction and then go to the video. And in that live introduction, we're going to see the crowd that's there, whether it's shot from the back or they actually shoot it from the stage. So you can see everybody that's there, you know, something like that. But I think we're going to see that audience at some point in the live stream.
Interesting. Okay, I'm good with it.
All right.
My pick is new multitasking features in iPad OS. Now, what I mean by this is this goes hand in hand with my earlier pick about the external display, is the ability to have more than, you know, 2 apps side by side or 3 if you include slide over. Especially on the external display. I'm not going to go as far as you did, though, with the ability to freely resize like vertically stuff. I think we're going to get predetermined sizes like we do with widgets that apps can be in. But we are going to be able to have more freedom in how many we see. Also, I think the controls for how you initiate it and control it will be improved, both touch or through the keyboard. I think it needs to be refined and cleaned up. In that regard, it needs to be more obvious, more discoverable, and we need the option to have, like, I want to be able to have halves, thirds, or quadrants. And so in one instance, I could have a half and then 2 quads, you know, so I'd have 3 apps in that regard, or 3 vertical ones, depending on the type of app. It might be possible, or 4, or, you know, so I think those are the basic building blocks, you know, 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the screen, especially if they're going to allow you to do it to extend your display on an external display. that would be super nice.
One of the interesting questions that I have about this, if they do this, is whether or not it's going to be available to all iPads.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be determined. I think the number of apps you can show and the configurations that you can do it in are based on the size of the screen, be it the external display or the built-in display to the iPad. So I'm talking you don't want 4 apps on an iPad mini.
No, it would be, well, I mean, you could do it depending on what the apps are, but
yeah, it wouldn't be,
you're not going
to me, it wouldn't be a great user experience. I think iPad mini, the most you get is 3, and that's if you have it in landscape.
And it's all side by side.
Yeah, boom, but 3 columns. And then if you go vertical.
But here's the thing. Like if you were to connect that to an external display, do you get all of that?
Yeah, because then it recognizes the resolution of the display and goes, oh, I can show up to 4 apps at a time because of the space I'm being given. I think it needs to be completely adaptable based upon the resolution of the screens that the OS has access to.
Now, I don't think that this is going to be an issue, but I do question that based on processor speeds and what the hardware can handle as far as how many apps can be in the memory at a time, actively in the memory at a time.
Well, and that's again, to my earlier point, perhaps it's limited to the pros.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
And so that's why that distinction is not part of my pick because I don't want to get that granular with it.
Yeah. And I really feel like this next pick, we really need like a sound effect for. I need something that says Buck Wild. I got to find something. Because it's time for our Buck Wild card picks. So
yes.
And both of ours ended up being like somebody, what they're wearing during the event.
Well, that was the whole point of the pick. It's a stupid thing.
Yeah, it's silly. Well,
something that would happen on stage, not technology related.
I was waffling between 2 different things. Either what color shoes is Tim Cook wearing, or what Apple or watch band is he wearing?
Ooh.
Which I thought was interesting, because to me, Tim Cook could be wearing, normally he wears just a white watch band from what I've seen in the past. He may have changed that up, from time to time. I don't recall, but I do recall in a couple of events that he had a white watch band on. I wonder if, because it's Pride Month in June, if he would wear the Pride band.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting, and I almost wanted to pick that as my pick. I think I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to change it to Apple or Tim Apple. Tim Cook wears a Pride watch band. Okay, I think that works. So I think he's going to wear a Pride watch band for his Apple Watch.
All right. My pick is that everyone's favorite dad, Craig Federighi, wears a blue shirt.
And he has a history of blue shirts. So
I know.
I think that's a good thing.
This is why I'm going for it. They're usually like a nice, like baby blue or robin's egg, like a nice, pastel blue. So we'll see.
All right. How many buttons does he have open at the top of his shirt?
just enough for the chest hair to pop out just a little bit.
So maybe 2? Because one's not enough.
No, yeah, definitely 2.
I think he's got two buttons popped at the top.
Well, that's why I like wearing V-necks. Just got to show the ladies, like, hey, look, there's this is a man's chest.
You know why I don't wear V-necks is because 12 hairs on my chest isn't very manly. So, and I think we got a show title.
Oh my God.
All right. And then we've got our annual Predicties pick, and we can wager up to 3 points. I think we're going to do on this. Do you disagree?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we can wager up to 3 points, and I pulled my Predictee pick, more widget interaction, as my annual Predictees pick, and I am 3 points on this one because I think this is a shoe in. I'd be really surprised if we don't see this.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide how many points I want.
I think yours might be a little bit riskier, though.
Yeah, but I'm also not sure. Like I'm going hard on the iPad picks, right? The external display supported. So like if I miss those, but if I miss my multitasking, you miss yours too.
Yeah.
Unless it is resizable, and then you get it and I don't, which that would be.
That's why I put that in the show doc as resizable versus non-resizable.
All right, I'm gonna go with 2. I go with 2 for mine.
Okay. So you didn't say what it was yet, I don't think.
Yeah, no. So you're doing more widget interaction. Okay. My annual Predicties pick is that a AR/MR set is discussed.
So if they discuss now, does that mean a headset? They have to discuss hardware here.
They have to discuss. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're not just going to talk about we're not talking like augmented reality on your iPad. Like that's been discussed multiple times. I'm talking about the headset.
Okay. Because in true connected fashion, I want to make sure that we define what we mean by that.
It is updated. It now says headset.
Okay.
And discussed is the key word, not demoed, not, like they mention it.
Yeah.
And remember, the 24-hour rule applies. So now, granted, if they're gonna bring this up, it's gonna be during the keynote. They're not gonna wait till the State of the Union, right?
Yeah, that would be my thought.
But still, 24-hour rule.
Yeah. I think that my personal feeling about an AR headset right now, actually, I think it's going to be a VR headset with maybe some AR features. So when you say MR, I think you're right. So for those of you listening, MR mixed reality, meaning that it would do both virtual reality and augmented reality. So
what is reality, man? Anyways, when you think about it, like
those are our WWDC predictions for this event.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I was excited for the show just because I always like playing games and this is fun. So
does that mean next episode we're going to play Parcheesi?
No, probably not.
What about Go Fish?
Cam.
I'm sorry. See, now you're the one that's frustrated. My dog has stopped barking, so I'm happy now.
Well, my cat was behind me here. I don't know if you saw him clawing at my shoulder. He was kind of now he's jumping up on the desk. Dude, why do you not just sleep?
That is a large cat.
He's a big boy.
You got some puma in him?
Might. He likes doing this. I don't know if you can see this. For the listeners, he lays on my shoulder so that his rear or his front paws are on my back and his rear paws are on my arm. And he just I don't know how that's comfortable because he's got so much weight on his chest on my shoulder, but goofball. Go on.
You got to teach him how to talk like a parrot while he's up there.
Right.
Schrodinger want a cracker?
Yep. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into what's delighting us today. What's delighting you today, Cam?
That sweet bass line. That's what's delighting me.
Delicious.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I have some things on my head here.
Hey, you got some new headphones.
I did. They are the new Rode NTH 100 professional headphones.
Okay.
And I haven't had a pair of I have not had a pair of proper over ear headphones ever. I've had some janky Sonys over the course of my life, but before I was using I have in-ear monitors that I use when I play music, so I was using those for podcasting as well. But these are over ear cans, as you would say. They got the cable can go in either side, so depending on your setup, you can adjust it that way. It's like a 6-foot cable, so it's pretty long. It locks into this. It's got these adjustable things here on the side, so once you get it fitting correctly, you can lock it in place. So every time you put them on, you don't have to readjust, which is nice. It's got real like cooling gel in here, so like they stay not, you don't ever get sweaty. Like I had them on for like 3 hours last night with my glasses, and the foam kind of, or the gel just kind of like there, and it's got like a cooling thing in it, so they just stay normal. They sound incredible. So they're I'm enjoying them. Music podcasts sound great. Music sounds incredible. Plus, I just think they look cool.
Yeah,
so.
they make you look professional, like you know stuff.
And I don't even have my glasses on. And they come with this cool carrying, not cool, it's just a carrying pouch.
Sure.
They don't have a bra like your AirPods Max do.
They fold up?
No.
Okay.
No, but if I'm going to travel, like throw them in my bag, I'll unlock them and shrink them just so they take up less space. But,
yeah.
They don't fold. So that is one feature they do not have.
Yeah, that Sony just put out some new ones too that don't fold, and that's becoming a trend that I'm not sure that I'm super excited about. My old Sony studio monitors that I can show you right here, like these at least like sucked up into themselves and were nice and small to like throw in my bag or whatever. These are one, just to give you some history. These are the ones I got from school when I was getting my broadcasting degree. And these are, everybody's had a pair of these that have been in radio. These are the MDR 7506s that Sony does. If you've been in radio, you've seen somebody with these headphones, because these are pretty common. But yeah, they look nice. It sounds like you really like the way they sound. I'm an over the ear headphone guy. Like, just if you're gonna listen to music, man, you can throw in a pair of AirPods and they do okay. But man, if you really want to listen to some music and enjoy it, you got to have good over the ear headphones.
I'm looking up some of the specs here.
I'm intentionally not trying to compare them to my AirPods Max because they are not comparable.
Yeah, so this 40 millimeter custom matched drivers to create a clean, vivid soundstage with low distortion.
And when I say they're not comparable, it's not that like one is better than the other. It's just that they're just different things. So,
yeah, they're nice. Rode also came out with the Rodecaster Pro 2. Did you see that? They announced it. It's $800, but it's a really nice upgrade. I will not be getting it because it's $800, and my Rodecaster Pro works perfectly fine for everything on it. But I was like, ooh, pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should check it out. It's cool. They added a couple of really, really nice features to that too, to make it more than just a podcasting rig. There's now a full-fledged like audio interface mixer, so that you can record line level stuff. You can record instruments. They added some crazy big preamps. So like I wouldn't need a cloud lifter for my mic. They're like actually using a cloud lifter would introduce noise because our preamps are so much better.
No.
So like some really impressive updates. And they changed the design a little bit, and Yeah. Anyways, that's that. I like my headphones, Mitch.
Yeah, they're nice headphones.
Indeed. What about you, sir? What's delighting you?
Well, there is a new Star Wars show that released yesterday on Disney Plus that I am really excited about, and I have not watched yet. And you have, so we're not going to spoil anything.
Yeah, Darth Vader's comedy sketch hour.
Stop that!
Amazing. It's so good.
It is the Obi-Wan Kenobi show that came to Disney Plus.
Hello there.
Oh my god!
I had to download that just for the show today.
You're such nerds. Wow. Hello there.
Hello there.
There was yesterday in Carrot Weather. Did you see the comment about that?
I did not. No.
It was something along the lines of like, if Obi-Wan doesn't say hello there at least once in every episode, I'm gonna like rain hellfire down on the earth or something like that.
Yeah.
It was hysterical.
Yeah, that's what I was looking to see if they were going to do a callback to that in the show, and don't spoil it if they did.
I'm saying nothing, Mitch. Yeah. I'm saying nothing.
But because I will laugh and enjoy that immensely if they did. So, but
it's delighting you that you haven't watched it.
No, I'm delighted because it's here, and tonight, my wife and I are going to sit down and watch the first two episodes, and I'm excited about that. So,
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, the little bit I've heard about the show, I like where this could be going. There is a Legends novel called Kenobi, I think it is, that talks about a lot about his emotions about things that happened during Revenge of the Sith that takes place like kind of right after that. That I know the couple of YouTubers that I've listened to have postulated that this Legends novel, which it's not canon, but that they're going to draw inspiration from that for this series and deal with a lot of the, how did Obi-Wan feel when he went out to Tatooine? He's, he can't really use the Force because if he uses the Force, he'll be detected by the Inquisitors. He is dealing emotionally with the idea that he may not realize that Anakin survived. And because the last time that he saw Anakin, he was laying in a heap burning alive. So he's figuring that he probably died, not making the connection that he's Darth Vader, because the only person in Revenge of the Sith that knew he was Darth Vader was Palpatine or Darth Sidious or the Emperor. Goes by many names, but this idea that he's been on Tatooine now for 10 years, having dealt with the fact that Anakin's dead, that I'm trying to remember what all the Order 66 happened. He's lost connection with all of these, the Jedi that he knew. And now he's alone on this planet with one purpose in mind, and that's to protect Luke, and just what that means for him. So I'm curious to see how the series handles it and see if they draw from that inspiration or not. Apparently that Kenobi book is really dark. Like Obi-Wan goes to some pretty dark places. So we'll see where this goes from here.
I have a lot that I want to say, but I will say nothing.
Yeah. So.
I will say absolutely nothing. And then when we talk next time, we will say all the things.
Yeah. Have you seen Severance yet?
No. It's on the list.
If you get to it, we can do an episode. And I think we'll be departed enough from the show coming out that anybody that wanted to see it has seen it. So then we can just do, just a really nice discussion about that show. I have to go through and rewatch it with my wife yet, because she hasn't seen it yet. So when we get that opportunity. She wants to wait till the summer, to be honest, until all of our shows for the seasons are over, which we don't watch that many shows, and Blacklist and The Rookie. But that's the extent of that. So, but we'll get to it hopefully the first part of this summer and get through it quick. So, but
very good.
But yeah, so totally stoked for it though. Well, we'll see what they do.
There's another one coming out too. Real quick, I know I gotta split here in a second, but
yeah,
Andor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the guy from Rogue One, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So they're doing his whole backstory.
They're doing. I haven't read enough about this show to say for sure what they're going to do, but it does take. It obviously takes place previous to Rogue One because he dies in Rogue One. Spoiler, but but they all die. But previous to that, he is a rebel agent, and I mean that's about as much as they tell you about him in Rogue One. So,
and Rogue One is that literally that movie ends and that starts A New Hope, right? That's like the thing that kicks off the original trilogy.
You can watch Rogue One and then slide right into A New Hope. And there's very little gap there. You almost kind of get the impression that the Tana V4 jumps to light speed and then Darth Vader's ship catches up to it and that starts A New Hope at that point. So there may be more space between the two, but that's the idea, is that it literally happens that fast.
I need to rewatch Rogue One. It's been a while. I remember liking the movie, but really disliking the female lead.
Yeah.
I think she's not a good actress.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion about that. I honestly...
That was my takeaway, was like, cool movie, really don't like her.
Yeah. It was one of the first real forays in Star Wars of making a war movie. Like something that was gritty and I thought they pulled it off. Thought it was good. Yeah. So
I'm gonna rewatch it though for sure.
Yeah.
I still haven't finished Boba Fett yet. Man, I'm slacking.
Boba Fett is a weird show.
It's so slow.
It's slow. And it's almost like two different shows when you watch it, because it starts as one thing and then it kind of ends as something else.
Oh yeah, there's like one episode where he's just like cosplaying as a Tusken Raider the whole time. I'm like, what is going on?
Well, there's a lot to be said for the character development that they did with.
Yeah,
Boba Fett.
I only watched like the first 3 episodes, so I need to hold judgment until
you need to watch the rest of the season. But there's a lot to be said about what they do to. Like really in those first few episodes where they're telling his backstory, how he got out of the Sarlacc pit and what happened to him after that, within the flashbacks. And then as they bring that in to the whole story on, the whole like present day story on Tatooine, almost just supports like the finale episode. It's just weird. It's just a weird show. It's worth it if you like the Mandalorian, because there's going to be a ton that's going to bridge season 2 of the Mandalorian into season 3. So you need that background to go into season 3. So you got to finish watching the Book of Boba Fett.
I will. All right, man. What a show. What a show. So
what
many
a show.
Predicties.
Packed with all kinds of brilliance.
Well, I mean, that's what you get around here.
Yeah. Got some tips. Got a Predicties episode, all our predictions. So you know where we're thinking going into the event in a week and a half here, or a little over a week. Little Kenobi talk, little headphone talk. It was good. So, and if you want to listen to more of Inner Dialogue, you can check us out at innerdialogue.show. Also, if you're like, I need to connect with Cam and Mitch online and I don't know where to do that, You can hit me up. You can look for my socials at mitchcraig.online. I do not have an email link there, but you can find my Twitter account, and you can DM me or at me or whatever the kids say nowadays. Just hit me up on Twitter. Cam, where are you at?
CamBrennan.com.
And he doesn't check his Twitter, so hit him up on Instagram.
Indeed.
I deleted Instagram from my phone, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's we don't have time for that conversation.
No,
right now,
we don't. Let's save that for the next show.
Yeah, I'm okay.
there's a teaser for our show in 2 weeks if the Predicties results wasn't enough. So,
yeah.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Same to you.
All right.
I forgot how to talk there for a second.
Hello
Anyways,
there we go.
Oh my god.
Can we end the show on a hello? I don't think we can. Hold on. That's better.
Misa, go bye now.
Shut up.